What I want to talk about today is a tool that I rarely see used, and it's color diversity, in the built-in color diversity for a brush. And I understand this may seem silly to you. This is a great way to showcase shape. So let me do a quick demo for you. Let's say I have a greenish ball. I'll just shade it normally, as I would. So if you notice, I'm sticking to the hard round brush because this is a really controlled brush. This goes back into a kind of like a lesson that I want to teach people, is to use a controlled brush and to basically stop thinking in brushes and start thinking in controlled and chaotic brushes, okay? And now that we have our ball, I want you to look at the fact that I use the brush strokes to tail shape. So look, I go in a sphere, as you can see, in a spherical like shape. And this is very useful because I can tell shape without even using a lot of 3D effects like atmospheric depth, you know, like perspective. I don't have anything for context, so this is just basically floating in space and I can tell 3D shape with it. So now underneath it, I'm gonna add a bit of ambient occlusion. Now I'm gonna do something that is called a lost edge, where basically I just merge the edges between them. This is something that naturally happens in shadow, but you can also do this intentionally with your own drawings, is wherever you don't need the separation between shapes, you just merge them. You see this happen with a lot of John Singer Sargent paintings, and this is a technique that is really good. This is really great for emphasis. That this is great. As it is, it's great, but we can make it even greater. So if you take a picture of a wall and you pick colors from like different areas of the wall of the same color, and you're gonna get 10 different colors. Life is naturally color diverse. So if you look, this is a good example, Studio Ghibli or Marco Bucci. He emphasizes this really well, or Studio Ghibli. Nothing is just blank. Everything has color diversity. So me personally, what I do is I have brushes. You see chalky, no hue. Let's see. Find this, and I have chalky, no hue, and somewhere around here I have chalky with hue. But I think if you go to your brushes, and I think this is Procreate, I think most softwares have this setting, it's color diversity. Stamp color jitter is basically a brush is a stamp just replicating over and over again. If you replicate it enough, it's gonna smoothen out. So it's just basically like this. But the more you replicate it, the shape merges and it looks like a straight line. So what the color diversity for the stamp does is, as the name implies, it just basically makes the stamp more diverse depending on what you want. You have, this is what I'm doing, is hue diversity, and of course this is random, it's like this depending on the setting. You have luminosity, so luminosity is in this spectrum, so it goes down. And this can be of any hue range, so even if it's like more grayish. And then you have saturation. So saturation is just literally this. So now that I have laid out what a stamp is and what color diversity for a stamp is, color dynamics, or I call it color diversity, the stroke color jitter is literally just for whenever I place this down and I move it, this is a stroke, okay? If I place another one, I lift my pen and I place another one, this is a different stroke. It's just that simple. This is combined of multiple stamps. Let me put hue 12%, saturation 12%, lightness, let's make it around there. And now you see it's different. It's not the same. This is really, really well because it automates something that you would have to do by hand, which is really great. Usually what I like to do is I just duplicate my best brushes and I use these color diversities for it. So I think this is it. Yep. So as you can see, this has stamp color diversity, but I also have these brushes. Let me show you. This is a literal random brush. So look. It's completely random. This is great for adding quick color diversity. And this one isn't as random. But as you can see, I have a burn edges blending mode. This is something I'm going to teach another time. But for now, I'm going to stick to color diversity. Duplicate it. And now I'm going to make this for the video. I'm going to make this hard round brush. I'm going to customize it. So I want the hue to variate, but I don't want it to variate. So I want to stay in this, let's say I pick here, I want to stay in this spectrum. I don't want to go further into that spectrum, okay? So for this, I'm gonna go with a mild, kind of like 14, 15, let's go with 17. I'm gonna go, this is gonna be, hue isn't as seen, but saturation also makes you, sometimes it makes your value more darker or lighter. So I don't want this to be exaggerated, okay? Lightness, this, I won't exaggerate this, but this also helps with seeing it. And secondary color, usually you put it very, very low, okay? Now, if we go to stroke properties and we make the spacing even more, this is gonna emphasize it. Even stroke color diversity, I'm gonna turn this down, and I just want to show you with the stamp, just plain with the stamp. I'm gonna pick this color and I'm gonna start going. What this is going to do is going to make this shape more interesting. Look at this. This shape is so much more interesting now that I have added this. And this is something that you not only use for realism, but you use it for stylization. This is something I have learned from doing traditional, which is, I used to be a traditional hater. Now I'm no longer a traditional hater. Traditional taught me to move with the flow of the shape. So whenever you're doing charcoal, you literally cannot, like, I cannot emphasize, other than value, I cannot emphasize, but I can. The flow of the shape. So if you have, let's say my hand, it's a cylinder, I just go with the shape of the cylinder. I can either go with this flow or with this flow. Either one is good. You see this again, you see this with a lot of classical painters like John Singer Sargent. So look at how much more emphasis you have on the shape now that I have added. Not only do I follow the flow, but I also use the color diversity so you can see the brush strokes pop out even more. It's like, imagine if it were like a wall, a plain wall, you can see the actual individual lines of the wall. It's kind of like a brick layer, you know, whenever it's in perspective, you can easily tell what perspective it has just by its bricks. So this is how you should treat the brush strokes and the stamps, like bricks to your painting. Let's look at the before and after. So this is after and this is before. Okay, and look, there is more rendering to this one and the techniques, but I believe that it's way better. But if you don't, click out of the video. I'm gonna have the stroke color jitter. So again, I will do the hue, the lightness very, very little, because I want to have at least a bit of control. And secondary color, this you put it very, very little. So let me see, did I not do it enough? No, I didn't. Bring it up just a little bit higher. Yep, this is great. So as you can see, the secondary color not only adds normal color, but it adds the red. Okay, so I'm gonna seem really stupid with this one, but after a bit of research, I figured out something. I just assumed that the secondary color just picks a complementary color. I thought it was split. I thought it was, so we had green. I thought it was split complementary and like it picks red. And apparently not. Apparently the secondary color is literally right there. And I feel so dumb, but I want to share this because I didn't know it. You know, I'm out here making tutorials and I didn't know this. While I will tell you about the secondary colors so you can literally pick them, I will suggest you that you either pick complementary, so literally opposite of the color, and you make it more grayish. So don't put it right here, put it around here. You make it more grayish, but you can also do split complementary. This will also look good. So I will show you. So let's see, we have this round brush. And by the way, how I found this out is I just cranked the secondary color to the max. Crank the secondary color, and this is, again, this doesn't disprove the technique that I told you about, the pointillism technique, because it's still valid. You just have to pick this manually, okay? So you pick like this, and then let's say we pick this. And now we go back to the green, and we have that purple selected as the complementary, that's the complementary color. And I think I cranked it up too high. What you could also do, like try to secondary color, just put it to max on the stroke and look. You see, so now you have easy color diversity. But let's not just play around too much. Let's make it just a little bit less. Let's put it at 50 and look. Now let's say I want to do this and look, I have this. Yeah, this is way better. I'm gonna start using this from now on. I love this. It's really great. So from now on, if you are going to listen to me, you pick the complementary color. I really like green and red complementary, so I just pick that. This is a personal preference. You do what you want to. I'm really sorry. I generally, like, I try to fact check myself. I don't want to spread misinformation. This is a pointillism technique. It's whenever you have the complementary color or the opposite color right next to the color that you want to emphasize of your subject, it makes it pop out. So you see, like, let's say you look at the pointillist painting, you see that they have this lake, let's say, and they have little daps of orange or yellowish, like in between those colors, because that's complementary. Look, you see, this is blue and this is this in this color hue range, okay? So this is, you even see Van Gogh using this. You see a lot of pointillists use this technique. This helps bring out, pop out the other color. And this is really good. Like the Procreate, like the Procreate software is really great. I don't know if like Photoshop has this, but this is a really great setting and I really love it. Let's cover this again. Let's make the brush, let's not be so small. Let's be more liberal with the brush size. And of course, this brush, the hard round brush, creates only one edge. So if you want to further have a better, more stylized and more emphasize on this like artistic vision, this is artistic, this is, I would catalog this as artistic vision, you need to have different brushes prepared for this. And this took me very long to learn, because almost all of my brushes I pick other people's I used to pick out other people, like Matthias Zamecki brush. I forgot who that is, I'm gonna be honest. It's probably a really great artist, since all of his brushes are great. But I just pick them and I modify them, with the sole exception of the hard round brush. I don't really modify the hard round brush, but I have modified them to my liking. So almost, and nowadays I make my own brushes. I don't even download anymore. I have like a Van Gogh brush set, and I'm honestly like, it's not really that good. I made a better Van Gogh brush, in my own opinion. Maybe this is overconfidence. Okay, and now I'm gonna make the ambient occlusion. This is, again, this is, we don't need blurring, because the transition between values is, it makes the shapes, it makes the edges, excuse me, it makes the edges already blur basically by themselves, just by the fact that I'm slowly going into space. And look at how much better this is. Look at how much alive this feels, how much stylistic vision it has compared to, let's say, this one and this one. You see, just by a simple change. And again, the reason why I'm telling you, make separate brushes, is because you sometimes want perfectly picking, you want to perfectly pick a color, but not all of the time. And now that we have this, I'm going to show you another trick. So we have this hue range, right? I'm gonna go to complementary, and this is my complementary. And now I will go with a very, I don't want this to be exaggerated, okay? And I will go with a very, very diluted color. And by diluted, I mean grayish color. And I will add it very subtle. I overdid this. Let me blend back a little bit of the greens. I overdid this. This is the before and after. Now this is a stylistic choice, whether you choose it or not. I personally prefer it like this, it adds more interest. And not only do I do that, but I go and I also do split complementary. So I do split complementary. I usually pick this by myself. So it's like, I don't really, I really hate whenever people try to pinpoint the actual, like, it's hue ranges. Stop thinking of, like, I talk about this again, I talk about this in my live. Do not try to, let's say I have this color. Let's say I'm trying to draw this and I have that color. Do not try to perfectly pinpoint that one color. Think in hue ranges, like a watercolor painter. Okay, so this is a greenish, more towards desaturated, and of luminosity of around 70 to 80%. This is how you need to think. You have to have this one in mind, value, and this overall one. So the actual degree doesn't matter. The actual hue range doesn't matter as much, as long as it doesn't impact your value. Your value is the most important thing when picking colors, okay? Okay, so this is an example that I was talking about, Studio Ghibli. This is Spirited Away. So this is not a really great example, but I don't want to spend my time just searching for a few scenes of like blank walls, okay? So look, let's pick colors. Let's pick random colors out of this. So you see, but it's in this value range, okay? And with a few exceptions when it goes into like the moss, you see? And I can also pick, look, you see the dirt. So what I'm telling you is, what I want to basically get to with this is, how boring would it be if Studio Ghibli just did this? Just took this color, let's say, and just did this. Oops, I still have my, is this the color that, yeah, hold on, let me, And you can see there's little variation even in value. I'm just gonna cover it in one color, how a beginner would do it, okay? Let's not be really unfaithful about this example. Let's also go a bit up, just a tad bit down in value. Look at how lifeless this is compared to this. Now let's do this with the grass. So look at how blank this looks. Oopsie. Compared to the color diversity one. I hope you found what I told you helpful. I hope this lesson helped you. I hope you will use it in your own drawings. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, and take care and have a nice day.